Hello, Hal here. Those are the chords that we're going to use for Stairway to Heaven, the introduction to Stairway to Heaven. It's just a variation that I did on that. This is, oh, before we get started, let's just have you go over to quailstudios.com. Here's the link on the screen. Also, Patreon, if you'd like to have more connection with me, Hal, as a teacher, go to Patreon. And if you want to get on our emailing list, lessonswithhal@gmail.com. Okay, now that that's out of the way, let's talk about Stairway to Heaven by Led Zepplin. It was written by Jimmy Page and Robert Plant, and one of those songs that they were breaking new ground with this, and they wanted to do something different. They wanted to do a longer song. And it took them a while to actually work on this song. But let's talk about the introduction here. Now, the first chord is an A minor chord. And I'll put the fretboard here so you can see it. And it's related to an A minor bar chord that goes like that. I'm barring the 5th fret from the D string all the way over to the E string. And I have my ring finger right here on the 7th fret. And those are the first 4 notes. And I'm playing it like this with my thumb, index, ring, middle and ring. So it would be P-I-M-A, just like that. And what you would have here, let's see. There's the second chord. We actually hold that bar, and for the third chord too. Oops. Okay, we'll go back and explain those in just a minute. The picking pattern on that is P-I-M-A, and then when we go to the next chord, we pluck the thumb and ring, P and A, thumb and ring, middle, index, ring. And then we go to the next chord, thumb and ring, ring. And that picking pattern is found in the song in many places. So we'll talk about that again. Let's go to the second chord right here. Now, I've looked up this chord before, different sites, tab sites, chord sites, that kind of thing. Everybody actually, not everybody, but there are so many different opinions about what this chord is. You know, is it an E augmented chord? Is it a G sharp augmented chord with a B, what is it called? A sharp B, a sharp 9. Is it an E chord with an extra C, like a 6, a flat 6, with a G sharp bass? It doesn't really matter what the name of the chord is. To me, it looks like an A flat augmented with is it a flatted? A sharp 9. Looks like a sharp 9 on it. But you know, it doesn't really matter what it looks like. I mean, what the name of the chord is. What really matters is what it sounds like, right? It's really a transition chord between the first chord and the third chord. And really what's going on here is that the bass line is going from A to G sharp to G, like that. Or you could say A flat to G, like that. And the melody is going up the scale. A, B, C, like that. So we've got this. And then the melody comes up and the bass line goes down, half step. And the melody goes up a half step and the bass line goes down a half step. Right? So really what's happening is that these 2 notes are holding. The C note and the E note are holding. Now, the A minor chord has an A, C, and an E in it. A, C, E, and then another A. And that C and E are holding right there. And when you get to the next chord, which is a C chord with a G bass, then that's still C and E. It's still right there. The C and E are common to both the A minor chord and the C chord. So we've got this really a contrapuntal thing going on, where the bass line is going down and the melody is going up. So it's actually in contrary motion like that, which is really brilliant. It makes the chords really balanced. And now the next chord is a D chord with an F sharp bass. Okay, so our bass line has gone 7, 6, 5, 4, right? Now on this C with a G bass, we've still got the bar at the 5th fret. We've got our little finger right here on the 8th fret with that picking pattern that we talked about earlier. Now we're going to do the same picking pattern on that D sharp with an, the D chord with an F sharp bass. It's just a D chord with an F sharp bass. I usually do it with a bar finger like this because I've got, go down, put my bar on the 2nd fret, put this finger down to get the D, put that finger there to get the F sharp. Okay, and then we go down one more half step to F major 7. This is not an F chord like this, but the E is open, that makes the major 7. And it's really easy, an easy chord to play. Now this picking pattern is different. We just broke that pattern and we play our thumb on our ring, middle, index, middle, ring, middle, index, just like that. Okay, and then we go to a G. This is how I do it, to A minor. Play the G once, A minor twice. You can strum it or you can pick it like this. Okay, so here it is from the beginning. Oops. Okay, that's what it is. I'll do it from this angle. Now what happens is, when the recorders start to come in, we have the open A string, we slide up to 8 with, our ring finger is good, right? And then back to 7, just like that, so it goes. And what I do here is I go ahead and play an open A string instead of the 7th fret A string on the D, A note on the D, because I can get there really quick. The next chord again, next chord again, D with an F sharp bass, F major 7, G chord to A minor chord twice. There you go. Okay, that's the first part of Stairway to Heaven. Now what we're going to do is we're going to do the next part, the second part. Right, that part right there. So what we do is we do a little bass run with our thumb on the A string, open, 2, 3, and I do it with the 2nd and 3rd fingers, just like that, just going right into the C chord. C chord, thumb, index, middle, ring, so just like, right? And then a D chord, like that. I just do it with my little finger. F major 7, like that. So we've got this bass run. Remember that thumb ring finger pattern that we did earlier? We do that there, and we do it with the F major 7. Now when we go to the A minor chord, what we do is we lift up this finger, this index finger, and we play the A string and the B string together, and we do a little hammer on. Open to 1 right there. And then you play the G string with your finger on the 2nd fret. Now I like to make the whole A minor chord, because if you make a mistake and you hit that open D string, instead of having just 2 fingers, you'd have that open D string and it wouldn't sound good. So I just go ahead and make the A minor chord. So here it is again. C chord, D chord, F major 7, A minor. We do it again, C, G chord. Same picking pattern as we did before, except now we're playing the low G note here on the E string. Ring and thumb are plucking at the same time. Middle, index, ring, and then we go to a D sus4. Now this is a D chord with our little finger down on the 3rd fret E string, like that, or I think they do a pull-off there if I remember correctly, like that. So you have your little finger and you pull it like that. Okay, so then we go back into the C chord, D chord, F major 7, A minor with the hammer on, C. Now this time we do a D chord and the F major 7 like this, and we strum it just like that 3 times. And then the singing starts. There's a lady. Okay, we're going to start right up here again. There's a lady who's sure all that glitters is gold. And we play the introduction with the singing. There you go. That's the introduction. I hope that was a good explanation. Let's see. Oh, there is one thing I wanted to tell you about this. When I first started playing Stairway to Heaven, I didn't realize that it was a D with an F sharp bass. So what I did was I just played a regular D chord. D chord. And so played an open D, and then I went to F major 7. Right? And so I didn't realize that that bass line was doing that, and it sounded okay. All the chords are right. If for some reason you have trouble with that D with an F sharp bass, just leave it off for a little while. Okay? But if you're having trouble going from here to here, then you just have to practice that. Rock back and forth between that C with a G bass and the D with an F sharp bass. Right? At first, if you want to, you could rock back and forth between C with a G bass and a D chord if you really want to. Or maybe use your bar in preparation to do the D with an F sharp bass with your ring finger there. So you need to do things to prepare to work on this. Actually, what I would do if I were you, instead of playing all the finger picking like that, I would just play them like chords. Like this, just strum it. If you have to work on these chords by themselves, I call that blocking the chords. So just take those chords, one right after the other. Now if you're having trouble with any of those chords and you just can't go right to it, then work on those 2 chords together. A minor, and then that chord right there. I think that's called an A flat augmented with a sharp 9. To C, and you can go back and forth, or right? Oops. And this is how you build muscle memory. Okay, we're going to stop there, and thank you for coming by quailstudios.com. Let's see, I think I told you everything at the beginning about Patreon. Go there and check us out. This video will be posted on Patreon before it even becomes public on YouTube. And it will be kind of a raw video without the stuff on the screen. But my patrons over there will be able to see what is coming up and what we're doing. And the more advanced people will be able to figure it out right away. And then later on, when I get all the editing done, we'll have this available at YouTube on a public video. But go over to Patreon, check it out. Lessons with Hal. Find me on Twitter if you want, and Quail Studios on Twitter. And anyway, hope you have a good day. We'll see you soon. We'll see you soon. Okay, I'm not talking very well today. Hope you have a good day. We'll see you soon. Bye.